Take a moment and look around. You are surrounded by straight lines, sharp corners, and rigid definitions. These shapes feel solid, they feel graspable. And then there is the circle. The shape of the sun, the shape of the eye, the shape of the wheel. It is the first shape we truly see, and it appears to be the simplest shape in existence. But what if this perfect, ubiquitous geometry is, in fact, a lie? What if the foundation of our reality is built upon the one shape that is mathematically impossible to truly exist? This is the story of the circle, and the profound terror it brought to the greatest minds in human history. This is the truth behind the shape that defines reality. The circle was not invented, it was discovered. It was a universal truth found in the sky, in the flow of water, and in the movement of the cosmos. For early man, the idea of the circle was one of unbroken symmetry, a line without a beginning, and crucially, without an end. It was the purest embodiment of eternity. The earliest practical use of this geometry was not in science, but in utility, the wheel. Around 3500 BCE in Mesopotamia, the implementation of the circle revolutionized transport, warfare, and agriculture. The wheel was the first tool that allowed humanity to leverage the concept of continuous perfect motion. The ancient mind saw the circle as the boundary between our mortal, linear world and the divine eternal cosmic order. It was the fundamental language of the gods, requiring only a simple rope tied to a stick, the first primitive compass, to bring that cosmic perfection down to earth. Yet, the moment we tried to measure it, the paradox began. If the circle was discovered, it required founders to define its rules. In ancient Greece, specifically Miletus, thinkers began to move beyond myth and measure the divine. Thales of Miletus, often considered the first true Greek mathematician, was among the first to bring scientific discipline to the circle. He gave us the theorem that an angle inscribed in a semicircle must always be a right angle, a rule that remains unbroken today. But it was Pythagoras who elevated the circle to a religious experience. For the Pythagoreans, the circle was the purest, most beautiful, and most harmonious shape. It was foundational to their belief in the music of the spheres, the Isaic idea that the cosmos was governed by perfect mathematical ratios, with circular orbits determining the song of the universe. Finally, Euclid, in his monumental work, The Elements, gave the circle its formal definition. A plane figure contained by one line such that all the straight lines falling upon it, from one point among those lying within the figure, are equal. This definition seemed to cement the circle's perfection as an undeniable fact of geometry. But the greatest lie, the greatest flaw in its perfection, was already hiding in plain sight. The challenge of the circle is simple. Measure its perimeter, or its circumference. Divide that circumference by the distance across its center, or its diameter. The resulting number should be a perfect, rational whole. But it is not. That ratio is HPI pi, 3/140 and it extends infinitely, with no pattern or repetition. The circle, the very shape of perfection, relies on an infinite, unknowable number. In the world of theory unlocked, this is the ultimate paradox. It means the perfect shape is intrinsically flawed. You can never truly measure the circumference of a circle. You can never truly define its area. For centuries, mathematicians obsessed over the challenge of squaring the circle, finding a way to construct a square with the exact same area as a given circle, using only a compass and straight edge. It was a quest for mathematical salvation, a desperate attempt to contain the infinite nature of NPI. In 1882, it was finally proven impossible. The circle simply cannot be fully measured by the linear logic we use every day. It defies the finite nature of human science. Despite its mathematical impossibility, the circle is non-negotiable. Its abstract perfection defines the mechanics of our reality. Consider technology. Every engine relies on the circular motion of pistons. Every gear system relies on the perfect meshing of circular teeth. Our global economy moves on wheels. Our ability to navigate the planet relies on the 360-degree principle of direction. Consider time and space. The reason a minute has 60 seconds and an hour has 60 minutes is due to the Babylonian obsession with the circle's division. The geometry of the universe itself is circular, defining the orbits of every planet and satellite. And consider symbolism. The circle birthed the concept of zero. Before zero, mathematics was limited. Zero represents nothingness, but it is also the placeholder for infinity. Philosophically, the circle is embodied in the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, the symbol of eternal cycle, rebirth, and the self-contained universe. The story of the circle is the story of humanity's greatest ambition and its greatest defeat. We discovered a shape so pure, so foundational, that it became the language of time, space, and motion. But in the act of trying to measure it, to truly own its perfection, we were stopped by an infinite wall. We can describe the circle. We can rely on the circle, but we can never fully capture the circle. The birth of the circle was the moment humanity accepted a universal truth, that perfection exists, but it exists forever just beyond our finite ability to grasp it. It is the impossible shape that defines everything. If you want to unlock more theories about the reality you think you know, subscribe to Theory Unlocked